If you hate an ideology to the marrow, but that ideology comes to power third time in a row while you and your ilk tried your best, whatever it was, to stop it, what will you do? I tell you, you cry and whine. And if you can write well, it also gets published on a website. That's what happened with Siddharth Varadarajan. When CJI Chandrachud told how disturbed and anxious the judges were before the Ayodhya verdict and how their faith in divine helped them overcome this predicament, leftists cried and whined. But some too clever, by half like Varadarajan, found some opportunity in this too. For decades, people like Siddharth Varadarajan, Swara Bhaskar, Sujit Nair have fooled people into thinking that Hindus' claims on Ayodhya is frivolous and that the whole argument of the Hindu side has no legal, logical or historical standing. But first in the High Court and then the Apex Court, they had to lick the dust. Thanks to their control over the media, the humiliation faced by these so-called champions of free speech couldn't reach the masses. But now, in the age of social media, and due to the books of Rama and Ayodhya by Meenakshi Jain, the truth has come out. After the recent statement by CJI, Siddharth found an opportunity that, see, we were not wrong, that Hindu side had no case. Judiciary is superstitious, so Hindu side won. A lie very similar to, we are not unpopular in people, EVMs are hacked, and so the other side won. Without much pretension, he alludes to all the judges being corrupt and getting kickbacks from the government for giving verdicts in favor of the Hindus. Not satisfied with that, he goes on to tell us the 5 reasons for which CJI Chandrachud's statement is alarming. First, he found it as clinching evidence that the judges didn't find a solution to the Ayodhya dispute but struck a deal with the powerful party. Then he says the judges allowed the Vandals and their proxies to take possession of the land they had illegally cleared. To the best of our knowledge, the land was not given to any Karsevak responsible for the Babri demolition. Court asked the government to create a trust to build a temple. Varadarajan here is accusing the whole Hindu society, so they shouldn't get the temple now. So basically, the whole Muslim community cannot be blamed because some invaders destroyed Ram temple on when terrorist attacks happened. But the whole Hindu society is guilty and should carry the burden because Karsevaks were Hindus. Then he says the issue before the bench was not whether there is a mosque that Muslim can worship, but whether it is permissible to thugs to violently dispossess a person or community. Absolutely wrong. The real and original question was always whether Hindus had the right over the land or Babri demolition came much later. And it was a different, although related issue. Varadarajan wants to negate the original claim of a larger Hindu society, reducing the issue to only demolition. For all his verbose and pretentious high moral ground, the fact remains that the Ram temple was destroyed and now it has been restored to its rightful claimants. Second, going ahead of himself, Varadarajan criticizes the reopening of Gyanvapi issue by citing the Places of Worship Act 1991. While continuously deciding CJI Chandrachud's faith in the divine, Varadarajan wants to give a divine and sacrosanct status to the Places of Worship Act of 1991. This act says the religious character of any place of worship cannot be changed from what it was on August 15, 1947. But the very first section of this act says that it will apply to the whole of India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Even some MPs of the ruling Congress party has opposed this in the parliament. But Varadarajan didn't have any problem with it for 3 decades. The real conversion and destruction of Hindu places of worship happened in Kashmir. The moment tables were turned, Siddharth has a problem. Third, here Siddharth comes to the most ingenious of the arguments. How Justice Chandrachud could have asked the DT to help find a solution to the dispute when the DT, through his next friend, was a party to the original dispute. Is this not a conflict of interest? In that speech, CJI Chandrachud simply said, so many times working in the court, we are not able to find a solution to our issue. When the Ayodhya issue came to me, we were pondering over it for 3 months and for hundreds of years, no solution came of it. Such an issue came in front of us. None of us knew how to find a way out of it. During my daily worship, I sit in front of the God and asked him to provide a solution. If one has faith, God shows us the way. It was just a simple common expression we find everywhere. When stuck in life, believe in God, He will show you the way. If some doctor says to his family and his friends that there was operation so difficult, we were doubtful of the success, I prayed to God and He helped us. Varadarajan probably gonna accuse him of practicing witchcraft. In the fifth and last point, Varadarajan, as simply whatever he had written before that, just want to accuse Chandrachud based on some divine revelation, when in reality Chandrachud simply meant that in tough times one should take refuge in God. Funnily, Varadarajan writes, but there was no courage involved in the Ayodhya bench ruling at a time when the ruling party at the center was politically desperate for the Ram Mandir as an election prop. The Ayodhya verdict came in November 2019, a few months after PM Modi won with a thumping majority. BJP was not desperate for some election prop because there was no elections at that time. In fact, it was the other side that argued in the court to postpone the decision after the Lok Sabha elections because they knew for sure that Hindu claim was backed by impeachable facts and evidence, and the decision is going to be in favor of the Mandir, which will ultimately help BJP in the Lok Sabha elections. Varadarajan, who's crying now, didn't have any problem with this meddling with court's business for political benefits, just like he didn't have any problem when the places of worship was not being implemented in J&K. So the moral of the story is, not morals but punny self-interest drives the writing of Siddharth Varadarajan. Thanks for watching.